Provo Beast here, doing a quick video for you. We are doing a 2001 to 2005 Civic. This is a 4-door. Today we're doing component speakers in doors that don't currently have tweeters. So we're going to make our own tweeter mounts. We're going to put in a mid-range woofer and show you how to wire that all up. First thing here is we're going to take apart the door panel. We're actually going to modify the current speaker in the door to house the new aftermarket speaker. We're using component Alpine Type S speakers. So first things first, let's get the door panel taken apart and we'll show you from that point. Alright, sorry that it's a little dark here. So the first thing we'll want to do is up in here there's a little plate. Behind the plate there's 2 screws. Easiest way to get that plate off, just keep some light for you. Using a small screwdriver you can get right in all the way around, pop that plate out. 2 Phillips head screws. Now this portion down here is already missing. What you do is you work out the top, pop it off, and the whole piece slides out. There's a little hook down at the bottom. Don't break it, but be very careful. That comes off, and you can use also a screwdriver or a panel tool. And then there's going to be 2 screws, one here and then one in here. These ones are just fine to leave. Now since we're already down here for the harness, we can unplug the door harness, and then beside these 2 screws and then these 2 screws, the rest of the panel is held on with clips. Now before you go, take that off with a panel tool. You can get up underneath that. It's just held on with one major clip. Okay, so we're going to take all those screws out and we'll show you for that. Okay, so I have removed those 2 screws, put the plate off, and disconnected the harness for the window, and then removed this screw and that screw. Now as you notice, the handle is nice and loose. There's going to be one more harness to undo, and on this side, see if I can kind of get it there. Okay, so actually, see it's a little hook, and that fits in that little hole there, so this little clip has to unclip, and that unclips there. We'll undo this harness real quick. Make sure it's a lock. Again, one-handed here. Here it goes. Out of the way. Those clips. There we go. Okay. And the panel goes free. Here we are. Make sure your harnesses stay loose. There's the speaker. Now it's not held on with screws. That's dirty. There's a clip and a tab. So pop that clip out, and then these are just little hooks that lift, the speaker will lift out of the door, and we're going to actually keep the speaker ring, and we'll show you how to modify this for our new aftermarket Alpine Type S speaker. Now, secondly, we'll show you how to mount a tweeter and cut a hole in the door. Alright, so I pulled that out and disconnected the harness. Now fortunately for us, the customer has bought these speaker harness adapters by Metra 72-7800. These plug into the factory connections. Now in the event that you don't have these, you can just cut this main harness off. Let's see if I can do this one hand again. There it goes. You can cut that harness off and wire these directly to the speaker. Now on this side, the gray with a red stripe is negative, and then the green with the yellow stripe is positive. So there you go. There's the little setup for you. So these will go to the Alpine. Then we'll mount or cross over in the door. We'll get that off and show you from that point. Okay, so I pulled this back a little bit, kind of gives us a little hole where along these factory harnesses, here's our Type S crossover, just all one unit. I'll just zip tie that to the existing harnesses, so it'll sit right behind the door there. One end will attach to the speaker, the other end will go to our tweeter, which will be about in this area on the door panel. Alright, mounted the crossover right there, which will just kind of sit behind the plastic. Okay, so we're good to go. Now next thing here is we're going to modify the speaker so we can use the trim ring in order for us to clear the hole on the magnet on the speaker as well as the door panel. Okay, here we are. So I cut the speaker out, cut the mounts, basically just kept the outer bracket. I also kind of shaved the top there so it's kind of a flat surface here. We can sand it if we need to, but that'll actually, if we go back to the factory location, okay, as you can see, I got the new woofer all mounted. Okay, so the speaker's a little dirty, but got that all in here, hooked up both the crossover wire as well as the wiring harness adapter right to the speaker here. It fits right in the factory spot. Now I'm gonna just mount a couple more screws just to hold it in nice and tight, and the speaker is in. We'll go ahead and put in the tweeter here. So that's all wired here. Okay, so I drilled and put a screw in there. Put one on that side and one on the other, so it is nice and in there, nice and tight. Not going anywhere. Okay, so the mid-range woofer is all done. Good to go. Next thing, let's move on to the door panel and mount the tweeter. All right, so we have the door panel here. I have a 2-inch hole saw. And commonly, there's a lot of space right in this area, right by the handle here. So that's perfect for a tweeter. Probably put it right about there, make sure it's all lined up and even exactly where we want it before we start cutting. So I'm going to put that hole in there and show you how it looks. Okay, using that hole saw, that nice circular hole, just get rid of all the shavings. Now, grab the tweeter. There's a little nut that goes on the back of that to hold it in nice and tight. Okay, just push in that tweeter, just right into the hole. And this little nut fits on the back. This little nut that holds it. Nice and tight, nice and clean. Real clean factory look with that really nice aftermarket speaker. At this point, we're good to go. So we're gonna hook up the tweeter, harness, get everything hooked up, get the panel back on. Now, commonly, since this sticks out, as you can see, just probably a hair bigger than the factory speaker, you may have to trim this lip, which I'll probably end up doing here. Okay, before I put the panel on, I just trimmed around this little ring, just because the aftermarket speaker, the mid-range woofer, sticks out a little bit further, just so it doesn't make the panel bulge away from the door panel. I just trimmed that ring using some flush cuts, just enough where it should clear fine. Alright, got the door panel on. Alright, all good to go. Typically there'd be a cover here. So, as you can see, everything's went in nice and clean. Sounds great. This was a used pair of Alpines on Amazon, so not too bad of a purchase. Any questions about this install, be sure to just post a comment below, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.